Okay, this is just for the forum. I'm reading a couple of posts. I'm sitting on my couch. I'm actually also reading a book called A Cure for All Diseases online here. And it looks like Hand is writing, what sort of ways have you ditched your main woman with minimal drama? I've always had a lot of drama in mine there, Hand to Hand. The best one I actually had was when she actually moved to Arizona. When the chicks moved to Arizona. That was it. Because she had enough of me. So she got him to just move the fuck out of the state. That's the girl that's in the thong with the big butt. Man, she had a body. Anyway, he writes, my main's on her last chance, and I've been thinking of ways to cut her loose. She's been my main since June. Since then, she's been seriously mind-fucked, and now she's totally in love and devoted. I mean, 100% devoted to me and no other man. And that's the way it should be. At the same time, she's been doing weird and annoying shit like telling me she might be pregnant, giving me a hickey, except, yeah, she's acting up. They're hand to hand. What you need to do is start disciplining her, though. That's what she's crying for. You know that. She wants some discipline. She wants your attention, basically. And that's what this whole acting up shit is about. For the type of relationship that you're in, you know, they crave attention. At first, I thought it was her next faux pas, but I'm thinking it might be good to cut her loose now to make way for the new blood. Already lined up and ready to go. Yeah, she's really pretty, too. And, you know, one thing about you, Hand to Hand, you know, you're an Asian player, and you got some fine-ass white women. I just thought I'd have a plausible reason for cutting her loose after the next faux pas. In any case, it'll be a real heartbreaker for her. Normally, it's not a big deal. This one's in real deep. And I warned you guys not to use that shit on every bitch, but he used on his main girl, which is perfectly good. And now she's demanding a lot of attention. And that's where you got to, if you see the women too much, and they get used to having the fella around, or you around all the time, and then you start, you know, breaking away, because obviously Hand to Hand's been breaking away to break in the new girl. They can sense that, so they start acting up. So what she's really craving, Hand to Hand, is attention. She's good, still good for the team. She's down for everything you want, anything you want, any type of sex you want, as you have shown. Okay, she'll go the distance for you. And I don't like getting rid of that type. I had one. I'm alone. I think it was 2009 or 10 that I kept like that on the side. So those women are the best. I mean, the best to have around. She helped me write, or she edited my first book. What was it? How to Conquer Your Fear of Beautiful Women. She's also the one with the big tits holding a sign saying "Property of Player Supreme." Yeah. Okay. Anyway, he writes, to keep the break as clean as possible would be good. May I suggest that you actually understand where she's, you know, what's going on here, and look to for another solution. That way, when you tell her, you know what, I'm seeing other women, you know, she'll throw her fit, but she'll still be there. Jealous, of course, but you got to train her how to act. That's what I did with mine. She knew I lived here with Jovina, and she, you know, she accepted it, her place in my life. And that's what I've done with women before that also. Like when I openly dated the two Susans. All right, let's see what else is cracking here. I think Don the Dapper's having the same problem. My main says she doesn't want to lose me. Thoughts on my girls. Woke up with 5 texts from my main this morning. Long story short, she's telling me that she loves me and can see us going really far. I'm like, yo, my game is too tight. Niggas, LOLs. Anyway, on to the main topic. I spent the night with my main piece last night, and I noticed that neither one of my chicks are dimes, but they've both got potential to become very good looking. My question is, how do you motivate your women to lose weight and get right? My side piece has already acknowledged that she is trying to get it together. Now I need to focus on my main. That's what you do. Sit down and communicate what you want to her, okay? That you want her to go on a diet. I think you said she's like 15, 20 pounds overweight. That's easy to lose, okay? 2 months, that shit'll be gone, bro. So just have her sit down and tell her what you want her to do, okay? She'll want to do that because she loves you in order to keep you. She'll do it to keep you. So don't be afraid to sit down and communicate there, Don. All right? You got to start talking to women. If you don't start talking to women, tell them what you want, they're not mind readers, as Jovina said last night. They're not mind readers. They can't read your mind. So you got to open your mouth and stop trying to be afraid of hurting their feelings. Because if it's something that's important to you, because, you know, I understand, you know, you want your girl to look as good as possible for your buddies to admire and all that shit, but also it's better for their health, too. But since you want that, you know, sit down and communicate what you want in the relationship, okay? All right, fellas. I just put up last night's 2-hour conference call for us, and I'm going to drop it on the YouTube crowd later on. I just gave the Facebook crowd the last conference call that we did. So I'm going to bleed those out slowly, but we get access first since we're on the site here. It was a good conference call. Let's see. Miguel, you got to stop being sensitive. What else? Miguel, you got a lot of great questions, though. Great questions. Excuse me for not remembering where your dad and mom came from. I do apologize for that. I get brain farts sometimes. I remember Panama and Dominican. Damn. How did I get Guatemala? Anyway, they're South American countries, so that's caused confusion. You know, I do apologize as a man to you. What else? The conference call was good. Next time I'm going to keep it a little more organized. Jesus, you kept interrupting a little bit too much. And when someone's talking, we got to wait till the other one shuts up. Okay? And I'll ask for the next question. So in the future, you're going to have to wait until I ask, okay, someone else with another question. Then you can see who gets there first. And the first person I notice is the person I'll ask questions to. There are a couple of people that were just kind of lurkers. I really don't like lurkers. Lurkers really, you creep me the fuck out. I mean, what are you there for? Just to hang out because you ain't got nothing to do in your life? You should have women you should need to be talking to. That's the way I see it. So I want to make these better, and I want to do them on a regular basis because I really actually enjoy when you guys pick my brains. And when I go into my head for my life experiences to try to communicate, I got to break it down so you guys can understand what I'm saying, and I try to communicate from my life experiences or from my my grown-ass maturity level. The reason why I like to joke, because I don't want the shit being very, like, nerd-like, very serious. You know, imagine a gaggle of nerds all on one call, and how serious and boring that would be. I like to laugh, have fun. And if I'm laughing and joking with you, that means I like you, like I do with Raul. You know, I'm trying to get you, you know, to lighten up a little bit, all right? So don't take my old black man humor, 'cause that's how old black men are. I get the same shit from the old dudes I hang out with. So, you know, I'm used to it. I was raised in the black community. Anyway, so don't take it too seriously. You know, don't take my jokes and jibes at you too seriously. I'm trying to get you to lighten up. Okay? What else? We talked for 2 fucking hours. That was good. I was going to end it at an hour, but one thing that I realized from the conference call that really shocked me was the fellow named Lee. In fact, I should put this on YouTube, too. I didn't know there were people out there like Lee. I was a, I was like that when I was a kid in ninth grade. Platform shoes were out, so I saved my money, got a no, I had a black pair of platforms. One of them had a red and black one. Anyway, but I took my dad's some kind of thing, like a shawl thing he wore. It was like a they called it a smoking jacket or something like that. I took that to school. My dad was 6'2". I was like, time I was like 5'9" or 5'7". I don't know what I was, but I wasn't 6'2". And, I was trying to impress other people with what I was wearing, as Lee was doing. Lee, if you guys weren't there, he's wearing a full suit, like he stepped out of the 1920s gangster stuff, with shoes with spats on them. And I don't want to embarrass the young man, but that made him look more like, an oddball or a clown. And I was doing the same thing in ninth grade. I thought Jesus, and I do apologize for calling Jesus Jose. I don't know where that came from in like middle conversation. I said the name Jose, but I've been calling Jesus the whole time. And I said, what? Anyway, I thought they were playing with me because I heard, talk in the background. And I thought Jesus had changed his voice. It sounded more like this. And the fellow started talking about, I wear a full suit to the, that high voice. I thought he was joking, or someone one of the boys were playing with me. But there really are confused young males out there like Lee, and that kind of opened my eyes, like in a flash. Everything flashed through my head, and I realized, wow, this is real. The brother was wearing the wrong clothes for the wrong market. See, if he went to like a swing dance market where the people were stuck on that old pinup shit, then there's a group of people in my town that are like that. The women dyed their hair black, had the cut sliced over bangs and the straight hair down, and they dress on pinup. It's usually fat chicks or thick chicks, but they wear the pancake, the red lipstick. And there's a market for that, but he was going to a regular nightclub with those clothes on, and he was getting attention, but it wasn't the right kind of attention. And that's the problem that I see with what Mystery put out, where he said, peacock, that whole peacocking thing. The fellow had it right, but he was doing it to an extreme. Wearing a suit to a nightclub at 21 years of age is pretentious. It makes you stand out in the wrong way. And that's what I was able to convey to him last night, was he was standing out in the wrong way, not in a way that would get him attention or get women on his jock, okay? And it made me realize that, that people really are confused, because I hadn't really thought about how confused the market really is on how to go to a nightclub, what to wear to a nightclub. When Joe put out, just get a nice button-down shirt, okay? You ain't got to even tuck the shit in. Especially if you've got a belly, you don't tuck the shit in anyway. But, a nice pair of dark wash jeans and some black dress shoes. I talked about this before, but many years ago when I was in my 30s, there was I think he was Iranian or Persian, but he was Americanized. He used to wear a button-down shirt. This is back when the big-ass bell-bottoms, like that big, were out. But he wore, those, and he wore dress shoes. And his style was to, move like this and then slide, house dancing. And chicks dug this dude, man. He had his hair combed, long, and like the front was all long, it was all one length. Those kind of guys, you've seen them before. The hair comes down to here like a bob, and it's all one length. And chicks dug him. All the other people were trying to dress like grunge, and he was all cleaned up a little bit with the same pants, but a dress shirt, and the other people wearing tennis shoes. They're flopping on the floor, flipping around, break dancing, and combining tap dancing, and tapping up the walls. We were dancing up the walls and flipping back then, so they were doing all that shit. But this brother came in doing smooth shit, and I always remembered his name was Ronnie. I always remembered him. He's the first person I ever saw do that. I was wearing tennis shoes then too. Okay, I didn't switch over to Actually, I switched over to hard shoes. I take that back. I was wearing hard shoes before. Then I switched over when I started going doing house. I switched over to tennis shoes. Then I went back to hard shoes after I saw this guy, and I started actually dressing more like him. Okay, um, it made me realize that a lot of brothers are confused though, and I don't recommend you dress like the rest of the fellows in the club if they're doing all hip hop. Do it one level above though. Don't wear tennis shoes. Wear hard shoes. Always wear hard shoes because women, girls, they're trained to look at a man's shoes, especially in the African American community. I don't know what Caucasian women are doing. I've heard they also train their kids, their daughters, to look at shoes too. That way you tell by a man's success. Also, they look at your car, whether your car is clean, organized. Look at the house. They pay attention. Uh, as I announced yesterday on the conference call, I was listening to a African American woman yesterday say, we were talking about this with the old farts I have coffee with, and this sister was listening in, and she said we also look at a man's hands. I've got big hands, but that's not what they're looking at. They're looking for stuff like this, the calluses. I don't know if you can see the calluses on it. Well, it's actually kind of sore right now because I've been scratching it, picking at them. But they want to see, they feel them when they shake a man's hand. They want to feel if they're rough. I don't have rough hands though. That's a sign of a. They're not all calloused up. That's a sign of a working man, a man that can, she don't care. She said, I don't care what it is. He works. He does something. If a man's got smooth hands, pretty hands, and we're not talking about manicures because they also care for that too. But really girly hands, that's on the man that they want to be with. If they want to find a man to actually be with, to settle down with. You want that working man, especially the black community. That man that got to work on his car, work on cars. I noticed the guys that work for a living, they got them big ass sausage fingers, way bigger. Like Jovina's father's fingers like this big. They look like big old sausages. His brother Manuel, he got the Godfather. He got big ass sausage fingers. Her son's got big old ham hock hands, and he's only 5'8". I shook hands with him the other day, and like his hands are bigger than mine, meteor. He works for FedEx, slinging boxes. But the guys who have working hands, it shows, and that's what women will also look at least in our community. I don't know about other communities because I've never really asked like a Latin girl or I know white chicks. They look for a man's success. And I'm sure, they're like the shoes and all that. They'd also look at the dress, how you dress. Women, that woman said she will itemize a man's shoes down to the cost. And I said that many years ago. And she confirmed it. Down to the cost. So they'll know what you pay for your shoes. Wow. So you gotta bring your A game, but you want to bring a weird kind of A game. Like Lee, his A game would have been perfect in those retro type of clubs where they all come in the ties. Because he's wearing also a tie. I'm surprised he wasn't wearing like a fedora or a gangster hat. Those fit, and especially if you can do swing dancing. He would have been the Mac Daddy of the club. But in a regular club where people were doing hip hop and shit like that, that did not fit, especially with spats on. If you listen, when you guys finally hear the conference call, you'll hear me like surprise spats. I didn't think anybody wore those. I thought, where's he gonna wear this to? Then I realized, those retro people. There's a couple of them on my Facebook account. This one girl, she used to be really, really big. She lost a lot of weight. She's still, curvy, but she's soft. Like her arms, you squish them in, and all she cares about is her face. She wears a gang of makeup. Paints her face red. She has blonde hair, but she does those. She's been doing like pinup stuff. No. When it's not supposed to be all squishy. Oh no. She's squishy. I don't want to when I grab a girl's arms. I don't want squishy. I want some firm, solid shit. If I want to get rough with her in bed, grab her arms. I don't want to squish in. It's like marshmallow shit. So anyway, fellas, before I get too wild and crazy here, I think I have one more topic to talk about for the show. Let me go back to, I talked about how I was reading A Cure for All Diseases. I highly recommend that book. The girl that's in the photo saying Property of Player Supreme and other photos I have of her, she's the one who turned me on to that book. And also the use of, this looks like weird shit, but it's called a zapper, parasite zapper. I just ordered it. I'll let you guys know how that works out. But I'm reading the book, and the author is actually talking about, she discovered, I'm not sure if it's a lady, Hulda, Hulda or something like that. I don't know if it's a man or a woman, but I should look at the back of the book, but all I have is a PDF. If you do a Google search for A Cure for All Diseases, the second one down is the PDF. So you don't have to order the book. So anyway, she's talking about all human beings have a radio frequency they vibrate at. And of course I piped up on that because that's what I talk about. We all have a certain vibe. Women can feel your vibes. So she's went on to prove this. And I wonder if that's where the people that did the book, the first book, I believe it was a black woman. I don't know if she won that case or not, if it was all real or not. I've been investigated, but the whole idea that we're nothing but copper tops, like in the Matrix. But back in 1988, she was talking about that stuff, that we all have a certain vibrational frequency. And the stuff that I'm talking about doing to you is designed to increase your frequency. So women can feel you when they walk into a room, or when you walk into a room. It's the same stuff I've been talking about, but I'm seeing biological or physical proof, or what's the word I'm looking for? What do scientists do when they do their little papers? Yeah, proof there from a scientist. The person who wrote the book is a scientist. And in fact, let me share with you some of the words that I just posted on my forum. I couldn't believe this shit. Over a century ago, scientists of Europe proposed the existence of a life force called Elan Vital. They were scorned out of existence and out of jobs. Young scientists, including myself, were systematically taught to scorn this idea. Of course, we were also taught that a good scientist was unemotional, does not scorn ideas, has a completely open mind, and does not rule something out until it is disproved to their satisfaction. The youthfulness of college years is so susceptible to prejudices of all kinds, and I saw that with an Italian fellow that's a scientist on my forum. We proposed the idea of, like quantum physics stuff. That's something that all the biggest brains on the planet are working on the stuff and proving it to be true. But anyway, prejudice of all kinds, and the desire for acceptance is so great. And that's, he or she is talking about, they want to be accepted. So they accept the bullshit. Okay? I also read that school teaches us to memorize. The better you are at memorizing what they tell you and regurgitating it back to them, the higher grades you get. If you question the ideology, you're considered not an outcast, but disruptive. All right, so the youthfulness of college years susceptible, blah, 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 and the desire for acceptance is so great that special effort needs to be made to teach neutrality, or at least to distinguish between emotion and fact. Where have these basic pedagogic principles gone? I was indeed inspired with the phrase search for truth, but then promptly led down the path of search for acceptance. But he was talking about something called bioradiation. And she wrote, strange as it appears, it now seems obvious that every living creature broadcasts its presence like a radio station. So what are you broadcasting, fellas? I've talked about before. If you're fucked up on the inside, that means your entire vibrational level is set on bullshit, repelling people. Okay? So broadcast is presence like a radio station, the sun, or the stars. I have named it bioradiation. Perhaps it is the same energy as the Asian chi, or in Japanese, ki. She didn't write that. That's my own adding there, because I live in Japan. Perhaps it is merely related to it. Perhaps it is the energy that runs along the meridians discovered eons ago by Asian practitioners. Perhaps it is the energy that faith healers and religious teachers know how to harness. Perhaps not. And by the way, I'm also certified in Reiki, which is channeling energy, second level. I could do my master's, but I never felt the need to do it. Perhaps it is the energy that psychics perceive and that drives occult phenomenon. Perhaps not. What is truly amazing is that ordinary persons have discovered such energy well ahead of scientists. Persons using the art of kinesiology, and my one son Donnie has his master's degree in kinesiology. He's actually teaches, he's a coach now doing sports. He's working with the high school here in town. He's doing their football team, their basketball team, and softball team. Let's see, pendulums, radionics, dowsing rods, and many other forms of strange energy have no doubt harnessed a part of this bioradiation. It is a tribute to the gradually high intelligence of common people and their open-mindedness that they discovered this energy in spite of opposition from scientists of today. Interesting. So I've been reading this book. It's 600-something ass pages, but I'm going to keep reading and learning from it. I encourage you guys to do the same. And until next time, fellas.